This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Holy Hydrogen. Okay, guys, let's be real. We all try our best to stay hydrated, right? But not all water is created equal. That's where Holy Hydrogen comes in. They've got this awesome device called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition, and it takes clean water to the next level by infusing it with molecular energy. That means you're not just drinking water. You're giving your body extra support with every sip. Better energy, less inflammation, and a real boost to your immune system. So try the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition today by going to shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran for $100 off your purchase. Again, that's shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout. Stay hydrated and stay healthy. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran. What's going on, everybody? Everyone having a good week, good summer, all that good stuff. Big week in Miramichi this week. It's Irish Fest this week. So hope everybody, anyone in the Miramichi surrounding areas, if you're coming to Irish Fest, make good choices, be safe, have fun. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's going to be a good time, I think. And just as long as you make good choices, all that stuff. And call a cab. Call a cab if you need a drive, anything like that. People who are listening to this for Teresa Aker and they don't even know what I'm talking about, then, you know, you're not going to go to it anyway. But anybody around here who is going, since a good chunk of my listeners are local, be safe if you are going to Irish Fest and have fun. So, yeah, that's all there really is for that in terms of, shooting the shit, my regular shooting the shit for the interview, or before the whole episode goes on. I'm excited about our guest today. I did her podcast a while back, Teresa Aker. She hosts Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. New episodes released pretty well daily. And I really admire her work ethic. Her podcast as well, too, I think is something really special and was an honor. I did her episode, or her podcast, sorry. I think the episode came out back in June, I think it was. And so we definitely talked about collaborating. And here we are doing it again. And we are definitely going to collaborate at some point in the future again as well. So great conversation. Talk about a lot of things, podcasting, you name it, we talk about it. And great chat. Thank you, Teresa, for coming on. And guys, Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Be sure to check it out. She has a lot of fantastic guests, lots of insight, and it's well worth it. So be sure to go check that out. Later in the show, I want to give my thoughts. The Batman 2 script is done, and James Gunn approved of it. When are we going to get it? Are we still getting it in 2027? Well, let's kind of break that down. And so also, speaking of James Gunn, Superman is out. Just had the privilege of seeing it. Was it good? Was it bad? Let's talk about it. So anyways, guys, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I am your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by one of my favorites. She's really, a truly remarkable human being. That's all there is to it. She's the host of the Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Please welcome Teresa Aker. Teresa, how are you today?
Franky, I am so great today, and I'm so happy to be here. You came on my show before. I got to meet you. You're such a great guy. I love your show, and I'm glad to be here. So thank you.
Yes, well, we had to do a crossover. Like, that's something every time if I guest on someone's podcast or they guest on my podcast, we always have to do some sort of collaboration, which is always the best part. I find that's the best part about ever since I started podcasting. It's connecting with all the other amazing people out there, and just seeing your show. I mean, like, you never stop. It's insane. When I look, I'm like, Teresa's got a new episode. Oh, she got a new episode up today. I'm like, you pretty well have a new episode like every day. Is that right?
I do. I actually just shot. This will be the fifth episode I did, four of my own show and yours today. So that gives you an idea. And so I'll be posting those for the next week. It's usually about one a day. Absolutely, Frankie.
That is like that's and podcasting is it takes it is a very big commitment. Like it's such a big, and some people might say, "Oh, you're just talking to people and stuff like that." Like how hard can it be? No, there's a lot that goes into it too. I mean, you've been podcasting for how long now?
Well, since the beginning of this year.
Oh, and you've already done like wow, it's insane how many episodes you've done already. Do you
Yeah.
ever wonder about like because people always talk about too burnout, how burnout is real. Do you ever feel worried about getting burned out and saying like, "Oh crap, I don't want to do a podcast again today. I've already done like 6 today." But or is it kind of just one of those things of I love doing it, so I'm just going to keep going for it?
You know what? Thank you for asking that. Actually, no, I don't worry about burnout. And you're right. I love doing this. I get to meet people like you, and I mean that, like really great people. And I've done a lot in my life, honestly. And I find that the people that I get to interact with, they just make my day, honestly. So no, it's not a now, I suppose there's times when, and I'm being honest with you, I certainly get worn down, so I have to take a bit of a break and so forth. So I might take a day off here and there. But for the most part, I'm able to upload one a day after editing. As you know, editing takes a lot out of us and doing a lot of the, basically the technology work. But other than that, the actual interviews, I absolutely adore doing it. I love my show. I'm grateful for the viewers. I'm grateful for my guests. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it.
It is a lot of fun, and as I said earlier, meeting all the amazing people that we've met. I mean, like I met you through the Facebook group. It's this
Yeah.
amazing group which I've shouted out on the podcast before because a lot of my guests I discovered on there, and so it's just crazy. Like you can just put up a post and everybody just comes to you. Oh my God, yeah, sure. Like let's collaborate and this and that. What would you say is probably the best thing that's come out of putting your name out there and saying like, hey, this is who I am, I host a podcast, Success Diaries. Like what was maybe like the best thing that ever came of you kind of putting that stuff out there?
I think, honestly, when I started the show, I explained to you before, I originally started the show because I had some healing to do after I lost my husband and my daughter. And it was very difficult times. And because I had reached out to a counselor who had written a book about grief and so forth, when I brought her forward on my show, she was very gracious to do it. A lot of people really liked her and liked the show. And honestly, Frankie, I knew I was on the right track there, bringing people on that had success stories of their own, and she had her own story to tell. I went and ran with it, and it has gone in directions I can't even tell you, Frankie. So, what have I learned from it? That this is my healing process. This is my control of perhaps a devastating time, and I'm able to give back to the viewers and say, hey, I know people who can help you because I needed them too. And it just all works. And it wasn't just that, Frankie, it's like yourself. You're doing a podcast as I'm doing it. I interviewed you. You had your own journey. Other people had their own journey. So it might be grief. It might be becoming a success story like yourself. It might be, actors. I have a lot of directors and movie people. So they're all trying to make a go of it themselves. I'm able to support that. So I like that too.
That's really good. Like that's and with podcasting too, I mean like yes, it is kind of an art too. Like it's I guess you could kind of classify it as one of the arts like music and stuff like that. But it's one of those things that I love because you can connect with the audience too. Like people say they'd like to connect to the audience through their music, or they like to connect through the audience through writing books or plays or things like that, and writing in first person. Podcasting It's like, it's not like radio where you're under all these time constraints. You can talk as long as you want. We're not under, we could even talk for 3 hours today if we wanted to, and that's truly something that I love about it, is that it gives you so much more freedom, and and then also hearing everybody else's stories and hearing where they all come from and their success and everything. And so when did you kind of you say it was around when you lost your husband and your daughter, which, yes, sorry for your loss. We never really talked about that last time. I think we touched on it briefly. Um, since then, I mean, it's obviously something that you just can't even put into words, like how big of a loss it is. How would you say the grief has kind of shaped your journey, or kind of enhanced your podcasting, or just endeavors as a whole? Because I mean, grief can do a lot of different things to people. How has it shaped you and in your journey?
I found in my journey to doing my talk show that what grief does, grief forces you to go inside to your emotions, and it forces you to face whatever feelings you don't normally have to face. So when I say that, they're deep emotions. I was always a positive person and I still am. However, during that time, I became more empathetic for other people. So here's an example. People perhaps lost their spouse or their mother. I would say things like a canned answer. I'm very sorry for your loss. And then I would move on to my day. Honestly, that was before I lost my husband and my daughter. It wasn't that I didn't care. I just have never felt the deep loss that I did when I lost my husband, who was the best plus one. I assure you of that, Frankie. We had a wonderful marriage, and it was a big shock to me. And of course, losing a child is even worse, if you can imagine. There is no words, as you said. So how did I take that? I turned it around and I learned that inside everyone has these deep emotions I hadn't felt before. I started to understand when someone lost someone, it's not just a superficial thing. It's not just sorry for your loss. It is real. These people have real feelings, real emotions, very deep emotions. So I was able to now feel more empathy, compassion, and understanding, which allows me to listen in my talk show, to really hear people in my talk show, to talk to them and to have empathy for what they went through. And also the positive side, because it isn't all negative, the positive side is, well done. You're doing a great job. I actually mean that today. I really mean it when people are achieving things. And if I can help them just a little bit, just even a tiny bit, it just warms my heart.
And that's great. That's one of the things I love about your podcast too, is that it focuses on, you know, obviously the end result is success, but getting to success, there's a lot of things that happen before, like grief, losing people you love, some sort of health issue that comes up, but ultimately it all leads down the same road to, it really just depends on how like what you make of it. I mean, if something happens and you don't want to, you just want to shut everybody off or cut everybody off, and I like that was it for me. Like I'm done now. It really depends on how you are able to move past it, and that ultimately becomes your success story. How would you kind of describe, like maybe not one guest in particular, but maybe a common theme throughout listening to all these different stories? What's probably the most common thing that you've noticed through people's journeys?
The most common thing, that's a very good question, Frankie. The most common thread, and I actually saw it myself, I saw a pattern appearing the more shows I did, the more episodes that I did. And the biggest pattern is absolutely everyone has had a moment where they want to give up. They absolutely want to give up because let's put it in this perspective. I've had people who, and I'm not, you can absolutely see any of these episodes. I had one gentleman just warm my heart. He absolutely shot himself in the head.
Oh,
I am not
jeez.
kidding you. And he's blind and can't hear out of one of his ears. And he goes around and helps people feel better about themselves. Can you imagine? And another person who wanted to give up and didn't think they were ever going to make it in acting. And then all of a sudden, something turned around on them. They didn't give up. It was like that 6 inches from gold. So those are two very different situations, but the same thing. Both did not give up on their dreams and actually turned it around into something positive. That's the thread I see in the stories that people have brought to me, and I've had the pleasure of bringing to the viewers.
Wow. Oh, like, wow. Which episode is that? I'll have to go check that one out.
Yes, that's Zach Tidwell. Wonderful man. Absolutely. Just probably one of my favorites. And I've had lots of favorites, but honestly, he is a wonderful young man. And I was honored to have him on my show. And he helps other people. So those are the sort of things that I like. But honestly, Frankie, I don't really have a niche. So my show is about people who are achieving things, have achieved things, become success stories in their own right. And I don't care if the success is you're a superhero or you're, working at an everyday job, just like all of us, trying to make ends meet, but you're doing something you love. That's a success sometimes in itself. So I don't worry about, I'm not worried about your stardom, your all of that stuff on my show. I want to talk to my neighbors, to my community, my country, other countries. You know what? The thread, Frankie, it doesn't matter what country, what city, what town, all over the world, everyone, absolutely everyone is on the same playing field. And that is amazing to me.
This episode of the Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Black Box Prompter. Are you a musician tired of being tethered to your tablet or music stand? Do you long to connect with your audience on a deeper level, but find yourself constantly glancing down at your lyrics and chords? Then I highly recommend Black Box Prompter, the smart and stealthy lyrics and chords teleprompter designed to liberate musicians from the stage clutter. This innovative device is perfect for bands, hobbyists jamming out in the garage, touring pros rocking arenas, and even houses of worship looking to elevate their services. It discreetly displays your lyrics and chords, allowing you to maintain eye contact with your audience, adding an extra layer of authenticity and connection to your performance. Don't let distractions hold you back. Unleash your full potential and create a more powerful connection with your audience with Black Box Prompter. Click the link in our episode description and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Black Box Prompter, the smart teleprompter built for musicians by musicians. The Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corcoran Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corcoran Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. And it's sometimes they might not realize it, but they are. Like in their mind, I'm never gonna be this level. And comparing yourself to others is something that it's hard to avoid, but it's also something that you shouldn't do, because if you're constantly saying I'm just gonna go this person's journey and this person's success story, and that success is gonna come to me too, That doesn't always work out that way. Have you ever dealt with people like that in your life who think that will happen if they just follow somebody else's journey, or and just kind of have to say to them like, no, that's not how it works, you know?
Oh gosh, yes. Lots of people. So you're right. People do sometimes fall in the trap of, oh, I see a movie star or I see someone really big, I'm going to be like them. Well, their journey is quite different than yours. They didn't have the same parents, the same upbringings, the same plans, the same education, the same futures. However, there's nothing wrong with having a mentor. Frankie, as we all know, you can have a mentor, but you have to use your own authenticity. You have to be your own person. Take your traits and perhaps learn from their episode, their life, their stories, and incorporate it. Don't ever try to follow someone else's footsteps. It doesn't work that way. And we even know that with our families. If you try to emulate your parents, it's not going to happen. They had a different type of life, and you have a different life. Follow your own path. I actually, Frankie, I'm interrupting myself, but I actually do motivational speaking as well because I have a history of doing that. And one of the biggest things about motivating people, absolutely, you can visualize things. You can absolutely know that things are going to happen for you. Absolutely, we can go into the universe is working on your side. But the bottom line is you have to take action. You have to be yourself and go for your own dreams. You can get advice from other people. You can see what they did, learn from them. But the most important is you follow your own path and your own dreams.
Yes, and that's really the key to success. And because that's what causes failure is whenever you compare yourself to somebody else and in their journey, and then when you don't get to that and you don't reach that exact same level of fame as they did or more so, if you don't reach that, then you're like, okay, I failed. Like I failed. You found great success in what you're doing, but in everybody else's minds, you're a success. Look at what you've done, this and that.
Mhm.
But to you, it's just, well, I failed because my goal was to be like this person, and it didn't turn out that way.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's not how it works. What would you define as, we're talking about success. What would you define as failure? What would how or maybe how would you define failure?
I love that question. I actually do an entire episode on one of my shows about failure. And failure is not what you think it is. Failure is the way that you're looking at your future and it's saying, okay, you failed at something, but you tried. Failure is just another way to show you, nope, that's not the right direction. Just turn it this way. I liken it to Thomas Edison, who tried to invent the light bulb. Thousands and thousands of failures in his life. And he said, I didn't fail. I found thousands and thousands of ways it won't work. That's how you have to look at failure. It's a way that's not working. All you have to do is either get a new plan, tweak what you're doing, or change the path. It's just a message to you saying you just got to do something a little bit different. Or you've tried something, it isn't in your DNA. Most people, Frankie, recognize that it's when you do something, whether it's going to work for you. The main thing is that you try. If you don't even try, that's what I call a fail. That's a flat out fail. At least try. If it doesn't go your way, it just means it's not either the right path or you need to take a different direction, but never look at failure as a bad thing. It's a learning experience.
Exactly. Like just at least try. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's one of those things. Well, I'm not going to make the soccer team, but well, did you try out? That's why they call it tryouts. You know what I mean? Like it's okay, even if you don't make the cut, okay, you tried, maybe you were good enough for the team, maybe you weren't, maybe you were great, but there was actually not enough spots and we couldn't take everybody. There's a lot of different ways that people can take it, and like we were saying, it's just a matter of how you take that failure or take that rejection and turn it into something meaningful instead of just well, I failed, I'm done, I'm just going to quit and call it a day and go pursue something else. Did you ever have a moment like that in your life where you thought I failed and I'm like I'm
Sure.
done. I'm done, you know?
Sure. I live in a city just outside of Toronto in Canada in Ontario, and I ran for council. I
Oh,
definitely did that in my municipality. I was all up for it, and I was up against two incumbents, people who were already on council, and I did extremely well, and I did not win the seat. But you
oh.
know what? I had the best time, and I learned so much, and I'm very happy that they got in. That was the way it is. But if I didn't try, that was my first attempt. I had never done it before. They had been in for a long time and they continued to keep their seat, but I didn't feel like it was a failure. I really felt like, wow, I did it. I put my name on a sign, and I'll tell you what, Frankie, to walk into a ballot and see your name on it and know you're trying to make a difference. Oh my goodness, what a great feeling that was. So was that a fail? No, that was my first time out, and I loved every minute of it. And I met some great people along the way, by the way.
And you still had people vote for you. So the fact that
I
you had
did.
people vote for you, that meant something. When you look back on it now, because this is something when it comes to, I don't talk about politics or anything like that, but I mean,
No.
or like the specifics of politics or anything. But when you look back on all of that, and the election and how hard you were working and everything, do you look back on it now? And because some of us have the idea, or we think sometimes anytime something goes wrong, we always blame the government. We always blame, oh, I could do a better job than so and so. And then that's when it's like, okay, well then go run for an election and see what happens. But do you ever look back on it now and go, I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't get in, or why did I run? Because that would be so stressful. Did you ever have those types of feelings?
So first, I'm glad I ran. Unfortunately, it was after that that I lost my husband. So I did not run in the next election after that. I was mourning my husband. So, but today, 4.5 years later, Frankie, as I look back, I'm grateful I went. And you're right. I'm glad I didn't win now because I started my talk show and it makes me feel so good. And I can assure you it is 1,000 times better than if I had been on council in my heart. I think it's a better direction for me. So if someone, I don't want to say, obviously I would do anything to have my husband back. That's not the point here. But when things happen to us, sometimes it's devastating, and we have to understand that life is going to happen. You don't see it coming. You're going to have to face some things that you may not believe you're going to have to, but you do. So you have to decide that life is still good and life is still positive. And that's how I look at things now. During that time, it wasn't easy, but today I look back and think, you know what? My life is mine now. I'm doing things that I want to do. I chose to do a talk show. I spend time with my family and my loved ones and my friends, and I have a whole new world that I didn't expect, but it's a really great life, and I'm grateful for it.
That's a great way to look at it as well too. And you didn't let you turned, the grief, and you turned the, all the hardships and stuff that came from it into this. You know what I mean? Like you've made a difference bringing people together, sharing their stories. Because I always say sharing your story, uh, talking with people, meeting with people, that's the best medicine, honest to God. It is like just being able to talk to people. I mean, we learned this during the pandemic that we were all kind of depressed. We weren't feeling great because while we were cooped up, we couldn't see anybody for a while. And then when we finally were able to talk to people, you're like, this just felt good. Like this just felt nice being able to talk to people again. It felt nice being able to that was the best part. Like that really, really, just talking about things, not bottling it up, and you starting, a podcast to kind of help people through all this stuff is truly, truly amazing, and doing it every day. You know what I mean? Like that's something, I really just have to applaud you for because as we talked about, it's a lot of work when you're editing and you're doing all this stuff. And it's truly fantastic. If you had some sort of like parting words or some sort of like call to action or something like that to give to our listeners, what would you give to them? Maybe someone who's struggling or they're depressed or whatever the case may be. What would you say to them?
I would say, honestly, take a break, pause, and really look at the feelings that you're having. Let them come up, let them definitely come up, float to the surface, embrace them, and know that whatever you're going through it. But this too shall pass. So in the meantime, find things that make you feel good. It might be as simple as going for a walk. It might be, stopping at an ice cream store and just having an ice cream and just take a minute. I know that sounds so simple, but it's a way to make you stop and feel those feelings and allow them to go through. Because the more you let them go through, you're going to be able to get back to yourself. The second thing I would definitely say is have a project. Just like I did a talk show. I would never in a million years thought I would ever do one. Just like you're doing, Frankie, when you started your podcast. We do it for our own reasons. If you're doing something like that, put a project together, something that makes you excited and makes you feel good. And there's moments where you're absolutely so involved in that project, it kind of gives you some space from what you're going through. And that helps the healing process. Would that make sense to you, Frankie?
That's 100%. That's perfect. Like we all, if you don't have nothing on the go, like we said during COVID, and we all had our coping mechanisms for stress of work stress, like whatever the case may be. All we had our outlets to, like, okay, maybe we like to do theater, we like to play sports, we like to hang out with friends and go for drinks and stuff like that. COVID, well, we couldn't do any of that, so we didn't really have it, and we didn't have any projects or anything like that to dive into. Which that's how this podcast came, and that's how a lot of other podcasts came, was just through how else do we connect with people when we're not, when we can't be in the same room. And how did I know that this was going to happen? We be talking today, and it's just you just don't know how life's going to turn out sometimes. So, but like you said, try. Like we were talking about that earlier. Just at least try it. If it doesn't work, it don't work. If it doesn't, sorry, if it does, then great. You know, but at least give it a shot. That's really the best piece of advice that I've learned along the way, and something that we've talked about today. Teresa, this has been such a blast. As I said, like you're one of my favorite people to talk to, and your podcast, I really think it's something amazing what you're doing. Where could people listen to that? When can they hear? Well, I said it's daily, yes, but where could people find it and find you on social media and all that?
Well, Frankie, just like you. So first I want to say I love your show also. I do want your viewers to know I just think you're terrific. Actually asked you to come back to my show another time because we get along so well and you really are absolutely wonderful at what you do. So thank you. I want to point that out
Oh,
before I
thank
go any
you.
further, Frankie.
And then
Okay.
I'm just gonna e-transfer her some money later to, yeah. That was
And
I bribed her. I bribed her, guys, to say that. Thank you, Teresa.
on
Thank
the
you for
agreed
that.
upon price, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. That's my
No,
fee.
Frankie, you're wonderful, honestly. And to your viewers, boy, you are a special person. Now, for me, thank you so much for listening and thank you for bringing me into your wonderful viewers, to all of you to reach out to me. I'm at Success Diaries with Teresa Aker on YouTube, on Facebook. Oh my goodness, I'm a Facebook junkie. So you know that, Frankie, because I
Yeah.
reached out to you there. I definitely have my Facebook page. It's just Teresa Aker. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, all of that. But go to Facebook, you connect to me there, and we'll connect. I'll make sure I connect to everybody on the other channels. I'm on TikTok, all of that, but mostly on Facebook. I have to admit that's my mainstay, and all my episodes go up onto YouTube. And I think so when this is all done, I don't, are you on you're on YouTube too, Frankie?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Yeah, anywhere if you connect me with Frankie's show as well. So I do appreciate your subscribing and checking in on us. And both Frankie and myself, we're trying hard to bring you some great guests and, to just keep going forward.
So I got stuck on this. You're on TikTok now? I had no idea.
I am, yes.
Do you make cool videos, like a funny videos or anything like that?
No, I do all my promotions on there.
Oh, you
So
do? Oh,
no,
perfect. I was just like, wait, I said TikTok. I had no idea she had a TikTok.
I do. But what I do is promote my guests. So I bring them on, I do a little reel and put them on TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart too, because TikTok, you can reach so many people on there. It's actually insane how helpful TikTok is. People can say what they want about how bad it is, but it's got a
I
lot of
like it.
good. It's got a lot of good to it. So yeah, I'm gonna follow you there after this is done.
Thank you.
Um, so guys, we are going to take a short break. We will be right back, but until then, this is Frankie and Teresa signing off. Cheers, Teresa.
Thank you, Frankie. Bye now.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the Corkin Entertainment Show. That was me and Teresa Aker. Thank you, Teresa, for coming on. And guys, be sure to check out Success Diaries with Teresa Aker wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you, Teresa, for coming on. And I'm very excited to collaborate again with you in the future. So moving on with our solo segments today. This is a very it's very DC related. So any of you Marvel fans, maybe this isn't the episode for you. It's time for you to click off the episode now. But if not, keep on watching it. So the first one that I want to talk about is it's one I've covered a few times already, and it's talking about the Batman 2. Of course, Matt Reeves is the Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson. It suffered a few delays in terms of it was supposed to be released, I think, in 2025. So it would have been it would have come out this year had things gone according to plan. And then there were some delays with the script. It was pushed to, I think, 2026, and now it's coming out in 2027. As of now. But I'm seeing a lot of different interpretations of it now, because we do have confirmation from James Gunn himself. He's not just a comic book director. He's also the head of DC Studios now. Amazing filmmaker, and he's also the head of DC. So he's going to be in the know about all this stuff. So he was on the red carpet of Superman, which we're going to talk about later on today. He basically confirmed, he said the script is finished, and it's great. This article is from Deadline, which says, on the red carpet of Monday's Superman world premiere, the writer and director kept it brief as he confirmed to reporters that he's read Reeves' long-anticipated script for The Batman Part 2. It's great, said Gunn after Reeves shared a photo of the completed script's cover page last month donning the Batman symbol. The DC Studios boss told everyone to get off Matt's nuts about the sequel to his 2022 take on The Dark Knight. Basically, what that meant, yeah, like people were kind of giving Matt Reeves shit, because thing with Matt Reeves, like I guess this is real popular with Matt Reeves, is that he's an excellent filmmaker, which he is. He's a great filmmaker, but he takes his time. He takes his time with his movies, which I will say this, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if you want to take your time and make a good product, quality over quantity. Definitely in this case, because the Batman one was so good, you want the second one to be even better, if you can make it that way. But I guess Matt Reeves, he was facing a lot of personal issues. They never divulged into any of that. And my take on it was, he should just take the time, like even if he finishes the script and maybe not direct it, just takes time to himself or whatever the case may be. Just because I think if we wait too long for it, then it becomes, or I don't know, if it, because, a movie like The Incredibles can release a sequel like, 18 years later, 15 years later, something like that. And it makes even more money because of that long wait. But I think really, quite frankly, if you're doing a sequel, you should probably get it out as soon as possible. And so maybe it got to the point where Matt Reeves should have just handed off to somebody else if he was struggling and couldn't do it. But anyways, he did finally, the script is complete. James Gunn himself has confirmed it. And he not only said it's complete, He said it's great. And coming from the head of DC Studios, that's a damn good thing. But really, it kind of begs to question now. So I've seen a few people interpreting this as, okay, the script's done, and it's James Gunn approved. Does this mean we're going to get it sooner than 2027? Because right now it's set for, I think it's an October 2027 release date. People are saying that maybe if they finished filming now, or sorry, if they finished writing it now and it's July 2025, I'd imagine because it's already approved by James Gunn and everything, they're going to want to shoot it as soon as possible. Like maybe, like some people say, maybe they could shoot it in October to have ready for October next year. I don't know. Maybe they could, maybe. But to me, I think we're still looking at 2027. That's just me. I just think it's now. I could be wrong. Now, would I like to see it in 2026? Honestly, no. At this point, I'm going to say no. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about how you don't want to rush it. You want it to be good. Just because we've been waiting for so long for it. I don't think that means they should blow through it. I think, take the time, make it good. Good movies take time. You know what I mean? And I think the wait is going to be even more. It's going to be worth it to see it when it's completely done, and because we'll look back on years from now, oh God, they should have. Because here's the thing. What's a movie? I'm trying to think of something that, let's say, for example, Avengers Endgame, for instance. That's an example there. If they delayed it a couple times, we'd be looking back on it now and going, oh, yeah, no, they should have kept it. They should have delayed it. No matter what, I think people are going to think every movie can do that or be like that. Sorry. Every movie can be, this could have been better or whatever. But in this case, just take their time with it. We're not in a huge rush for it because, here's the question. I wonder if we're going to get James Gunn's Batman film first or we're going to get the Batman 2 first. They're two separate universes. So to me, it really doesn't matter. As long as they're both good, as long as it's Robert Pattinson, of course, is still young enough to play Batman. It's not like he's getting up in his 80s or anything. No, he's still 40-ish or 30, whatever he is. So, the clock's not ticking on that end. I think it's more so just a lot of people want to make sure it stays around. But it's also Batman. It's always going to be relevant no matter what. Let's say, for example, they made another Dark Knight movie today. People would still go to see it. If they made a Dark Knight 4, a sequel to The Dark Knight Rises, that would crack, that could be a contender for a $2 billion film, maybe. And that's been 15 years now, almost, or 10 years. So it really just depends. But it's not really an apples to apples comparison. But anyways, that's my take on that. I think it's good if they take their time and make a good movie instead of just rushing it because it's already been delayed a few times and the fans want it and they're getting impatient. I think just do what you got to do, and we'll be here waiting for it, because until then, we got lots of other great things to look forward to. Hopefully they do another season of The Penguin, because I think The Penguin was great. And hopefully we might get Batman, the James Gunn Batman movie before that, maybe, and that'll kind of tide us over. We'll see. This stuff takes time, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the end result. So anyways, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts. Are we going to get the Batman 2 earlier than 2027? Are we going to get it in 2027? Or maybe they'll delay it again to 2028? I don't know. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on that. And sorry there, guys. I pressed the stop record button too soon, if you're wondering what that abrupt cut was. So anyways, moving on to our last solo discussion topic today is going to be another DC superhero, and this is going to be Superman. Just had the privilege of seeing the movie last night. What are my thoughts? What are my thoughts on this movie? Now, first off, just saying, I had high hopes for this one. I did have high hopes for this one. I know DC has kind of been a mixed bag for a lot of us, myself included, the last few years with, I did think The Flash was good. But Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, they were, I was they had a lot of wasted potential. They had a lot of it wasn't quite what I had hoped for. So for a while I was kind of like, meh, I don't know how I feel about the future of DC. But then of course we found out that James Gunn was taking over, and right there I said, okay, that's perfect. Like, really, because something that we sometimes take for granted sometimes, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy and how, not that nobody didn't know who they were, but he made them, it was like they're making a movie on Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, who the hell are they? Like that guy in the movie, who? um and so he took it, and now some people argue that Guardians of the Galaxy is better than the Avengers. Like, there's people who argue that. I think it's pretty damn close. Those movies are terrific, and they're all done by James Gunn. And so him taking over DC Studios, we were getting a fresh start. So I was super excited to see what this had to offer. Now, the whole thing of temper your expectations, all that stuff, but knowing who was involved and stuff like that, I knew we were going to get something good. So, saw the movie. What are my thoughts? It's terrific. This movie was terrific. Absolutely. It was everything you would have wanted from a Superman movie. Yeah, this movie is excellent. So all my reviews, every time I'm reviewing a movie, I'll go with the pros, I'll go with the cons, and then summarize my thoughts with a score out of 10. So yeah. So first off, the movie was very, very good. It was it was excellent. This movie is excellent. And so the first pro I really have to say is David Corenswet as Superman, top notch. And I think they made a terrific choice by not casting a very well-known actor. I mean, David Corenswet is known, but I mean, he's not like a top level actor like Robert Downey Jr. or Tom Holland or those types of actors. So I think it was good that we started someone of a smaller scale. I guess you could say that's the word I'm looking for. Smaller scale actor, and he is Superman. He absolutely nailed the part of Superman. And the acting from everyone is another pro, I have to say. It was all perfect casting. Everybody was just spot on perfect in those roles, in all the roles. There wasn't one miscast in this movie. I mean, like, you'll watch some movies and you're like, oh God, that person, they weren't the right fit for this or that. Like, I said that with Batman v Superman. Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, I thought it was the wrong cast. I really felt like it was a miscast. I think they could have put anybody else as Lex Luthor, and it would have been better. It was nothing against Jesse Eisenberg. He's terrific, but it's just, I just didn't like his take on Lex Luthor at all, and didn't think he was the right fit for it. Maybe if it was under a different director, maybe it would have been better, but that's just my opinion on that. In this case, there was no instance of that. I never felt that anybody was miscast or this person shouldn't have been there or whatever. Everything just felt good. It was like everything was meant to be. And that's kudos to James Gunn for that, which leads me to my next pro, which is just James Gunn. The amazing work that he did, writing and directing. He captured just everything about Superman that makes Superman, and even just his dialogue too, like the way he writes dialogue. The scene with I won't give spoilers away or anything like that, but there's a scene between, it's probably within the first 20 or so minutes of the movie, of Clark and Lois Lane, and they're in an apartment just talking. And it felt so great. Like, just the way it was directed, the way it was shot, the way it was written, the way it was acted. It starts from the page, and look where it ends up. So he did an absolutely spectacular job with it. I thought it was great. And speaking of Lois Lane and Clark Kent, the chemistry between Corenswet and Rachel, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Brazanin, I think is how I say it, Braznanin. The actress who played Lois Lane. They had terrific chemistry, and it was one of those ones where you really bought it. You know, like there's some of them where they cast two people and or like a couple, and you don't feel the chemistry at all. This one, you felt the chemistry between them, and it felt like these guys were married in real life. Maybe they are. I don't know. Sorry, just dropped my pen. So yeah, that was excellent. They did a terrific job with the casting on that end, and not just the casting, but just Corin Sweat and Rachel were just terrific in those parts, and they played off each other super well. It was paced really well too. The pacing is something that I thought was great, and I like that they didn't give us the backstory again. Of course, we know this is the first of new iteration of Superman, but they didn't do the like the Batman Begins type situation where we get his backstory and stuff like that. They didn't do that, and or like an Amazing Spider-Man thing. We just kind of jumped. It's like he's been here for 3 years, and this is it. So that I liked a lot, and it made for really good pacing. The visuals were spectacular. The visuals were so freaking good. Very, very well done. And the humor and the emotions were perfectly balanced. This is something, I guess this kind of ties in with the writing and directing, this is what I loved about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Yes, they had their moments where they were silly. Yes, they had moments where it's like, oh, come on, guys. But it was perfectly balanced with, like the emotions and the humor and the seriousness was it was balanced super well. It was very, very well balanced, and that's what you want. You really, really want, because you're laughing one minute, you're crying the next. That's what Guardians did so well, and this movie did that as well too. There's parts where you're laughing so hard, and then there's parts where you're actually getting kind of choked up. So that's a kudos to the writing as well too. So I guess that kind of ties in with James Gunn's writing and directing, but that right there was just a particular standout and something to really applaud them on, because it's very hard to do that in some movies, is to have it the humor feel natural and the emotions feel right, where like a funny moment happens, you're just like, that kind of fell flat. There wasn't a single part of that in this movie. I thought that was great. So those are all the pros. The cons, really the only con I could think of, I was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, there has to be something wrong with the movie, or like, was there anything I didn't like? So it took me a while to kind of really sit on this, and at first it didn't really kind of bother me, but then the more I thought, I'm like, yeah, maybe they overstuffed it a little bit to a certain extent. I mean, you had Green Lantern, you had the whole situation with Jimmy Olsen and his girlfriend, who is Lex Luthor's girlfriend, so it felt like to a certain extent they overstuffed it with maybe a bit too much, but it's all right, I guess. I mean, like, like, did it have some things that maybe I would have taken out? Maybe I would have cut out a couple of things, maybe, but to me, it wasn't, even that wasn't even really a con, I would say. I mean, there were some points where I said, okay, maybe do we need this or do we need that? They could have saved this for a sequel. They could have saved this for this or that or whatever. But overall, no. I mean, like, I think they could have. Could they have taken stuff out? Absolutely, they could have. But to me, it still worked either way. You know what I mean? With it in the movie or without it, it still worked out. This is, I'm not even sure if you'd call this a con. This was something, I guess, call it nitpicky, whatever it is. So maybe slight spoilers here, but nothing crazy. So basically, it's kind of a classic trope in superhero movies where everybody's screaming and running from the chaos. There were a couple points where I'm like literally the city's under attack and this and that. Call it nitpicky, I don't care. Some of the actors in it were like literally, like the fucking city is like splitting up, like buildings are falling down and this and that, and there's this one person who's just casually loading up her car, and there's just someone casually just walk. I'm like, Does that not alert you guys at all? There's like literally like buildings collapsing and you're kind of just like strutting like, they might as well just play Nothing Gonna Break My Stride. Like, in my opinion, I don't know. Call that nitpicky. I don't care. I'm not even really gonna include that in the cons or like that took that's a huge low blow for the movie. Like to me, I'm like, no, it's not. But to me, I was just like, really, come on, guys. Like there's explosions going on and you're just going casually. Anyway, call that nitpicky. Maybe I was the only one who thought that. But so anyway, yeah, that's really my review for Superman, guys. Honest to God, it's just. So the things I liked about it was David Corn Sweat as Superman was perfect. Everyone was perfectly cast. James Gunn, his writing and his direction, the chemistry between Lois Lane and Clark Kent, the visuals, the pacing, and the perfect balance of humor and emotions. And the cons was just, it felt kind of overstuffed, but, I'll kind of let that slide. I thought this movie was terrific. I really, really did. So I'm going to give it a 9.7 out of 10. 9.7. Yep. I'm going to give it a 9.7. I thought about rounding up to 10 and then I just said, no, I said, well, I think 9.7 is fair. I mean, you can argue that it is a 10. I've seen some people say it is a 10 or 5 stars, whatever. Okay. I guess, if you want to, you can. I'm just going to say 9.7 because did it feel overstuffed at some points? Yeah, it kind of did, but that's okay. No movie's perfect. And just overall, I'm super excited to see what comes next. And yeah, this was a great movie. I just like, there's really no other way to put it, is that this was a great movie. And I'm excited to see, apparently they've already talked about Superman 2, which obviously that's what this was all leading up to. It's not like this was just a one-shot deal like Joker, or at least it was anyway. And, but yeah, so super excited to see where it goes from here. Definitely be sure to let me know your thoughts, what you thought about Superman. And we're going to call it for the show today, guys. I want to thank my guest, Teresa Aker, for coming on. Be sure to check out Success Diaries wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you guys for tuning into the show today. Always appreciate it. Leave us a nice little review, rating, all that stuff, because it helps us grow the podcast. Check out some of our amazing brand partnership deals. And links are all in the description, episode description. And yeah, so thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys in the next episode. But until then, this is Franky signing off. Cheers, everyone.